I'm Jackson Haney from Insane Internet Wrestling, and welcome to the prediction portion, where I give you upcoming pay-per-view matches, the build-up to those matches, and my predictions for those matches. First and foremost, sorry for not doing one of these in a while. I just haven't been able to make a prediction portion video for one reason or another, but I felt like, since it's WrestleMania, might as well. And I made one for WrestleMania last year. That one took forever to make. If you want to see it, click here. Why not? And yeah, it just feels like the right time, doesn't it? I'm gonna try not to make it an annual thing where I do WrestleMania and then another pay-per-view shortly after WrestleMania and then wait until WrestleMania the next year. I'm gonna try not to do that, but you never know with the current state of things. But with all that said, hooray! It's WrestleMania season, and oh boy does this show look lackluster. For one thing, most of the tag team matches are just multiple team tag team matches, like a 4-team tag match with most of the teams just thrown together. Guess which one that is? There's also 2 matches on the card, well, 1 match on one card and 1 match on another, that have celebrities involved, because WrestleMania will never be able to let go of its celebrity involvement. Even though last year's match with Bad Bunny was good, but that's besides the point. There are some matches that have no business being at WrestleMania, but then there's 1 or 2, maybe 3 matches that absolutely deserve to be on this show. Some of these matches really are intriguing, and they're the ones that I'm looking forward to the most. But anyway, if you've been a subscriber of this channel for long enough, you know how these videos work, so let's just get into it. Here are my predictions for both nights of WrestleMania 38. Starting things off with Night 1. Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship. Before we get into the matches themselves, quick disclaimer, as I say with all of these kinds of videos, not all of the matches are booked. At least I hope not. Because these matches are meh looking, to say the least. And with every wrestling show, cards are subject to change. And this is what I'm getting off of Wikipedia at the time of recording, which is this date right here. Yeah, this one. So, yeah, not all the matches are booked. Maybe, I don't know, but this is what I got. So we're going with it. Anyway, starting off strong, because this match feels like a long time coming. If you'll think back for a moment to SummerSlam 2021, Bianca Belair was walking into the show as SmackDown Women's Champion, and she was going to defend said championship against the person she won it from, Sasha Banks. But for reasons, I assume another tantrum, I don't know, Sasha Banks could not make the show. We don't know why. So we didn't know who was going to be put in her place. We found that out before the match was going to happen, and they ran the program like nothing had happened. Bianca just came out as normal, and then, for some reason, Carmella came out, and everyone was ticked. Then, Becky Lynch returned. Now, up until that point, we had not seen Becky Lynch since the night after Money in the Bank 2020, because Becky Lynch had to relinquish or give the Raw Women's Championship to Asuka because she was pregnant and she was going on maternity leave. And she would be gone until SummerSlam 2021. And because Becky was returning that night, Bianca thought, why not give her a title match? She deserves it. Bianca then proceeded to lose the SmackDown Women's Championship in about 30 seconds. Seriously, I watched it happen live, and I was so mad and so happy at the same time. Happy to see Becky Lynch back, mad to see that she just squashed Bianca Belair. It's been like that ever since, because Becky Lynch has held a championship ever since SummerSlam. But notice that this match is for the Raw Women's Championship and not the SmackDown Women's Championship. Well, there's a reason for that. You see, during the crapfest that was the WWE draft, Charlotte Flair, the Raw Women's Champion, was drafted to SmackDown, and Becky Lynch, the SmackDown Women's Champion, was drafted to Raw. So they did the thing the New Day and the Street Profits did. They swapped championships. But oh my god, was the segment bad. It went off the rails and killed their friendship. Like in real life, it actually killed their real life friendship. But friendship killing angles aside, at Elimination Chamber earlier this year, Bianca Belair won the Elimination Chamber match to become the #1 contender for the Raw Women's Championship. And here we are. It feels like a fitting conclusion to the story, doesn't it? And it feels like Bianca Belair will get retribution for what happened at SummerSlam, and that's why my prediction is Bianca Belair. It doesn't sound right for WWE to book something that actually makes storyline sense, but here, I think they're doing it. And who knows, they actually might go through with it, because the match itself will probably replicate the aura that the SummerSlam match had before, the whole screwy finish thing. And who knows, it might actually be the best match of WrestleMania, or one of them at least. Who knows? But anyway, yeah, at the end of the day, going with Bianca Belair.
Rey and Dominic Mysterio versus The Miz and Logan Paul.
Are they just going to keep doing this with The Miz? I mean, seriously. This is the second year in a row that The Miz has been in a tag team match involving a celebrity. This year, he's teaming with the celebrity. I mentioned it in the intro. Last year's WrestleMania, Bad Bunny, a Grammy-winning pop star, or whatever the heck he is, teamed with Damian Priest to take on John Morrison and The Miz. And it was actually a really good match, one of the better celebrity matches in the history of wrestling. This year, it does not look as promising, as joining The Miz to take on the Mysterio family will be YouTuber and boxer Logan Paul. Now, like Bad Bunny, Logan Paul has never wrestled a day in his life. And even though he took a mediocre stunner last year from Kevin Owens, I don't think he'll do that well this year. I could be wrong. I have no idea. But I'm not optimistic about it. And as much as it pains me to say it, you know they're going to give the celebrity the win here, which is why I'm going with The Miz and Logan Paul. And even though this feud has been dragged out for months and it's gotten some mixed responses from people, myself included, with the whole, is Dominic really your son thing? But, it just feels weird. I have a feeling they're going to drag the feud out for a few more months and then finally culminate it in some big match at, Hell in a Cell or something. That match will probably end in Mysterio victory. But for WrestleMania, I'm going with The Miz and, God help me, Logan Paul.
Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin.
Whoo, sweet baby Jesus, I have to talk about Happy Corbin. I have always hated Happy/King/GM/Baron Corbin. Whatever the heck he's been, I've always hated him. And always will. So I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Drew McIntyre will win. Because Happy Corbin is the worst person to ever exist. He and Madcap Moss are not funny. And I don't know why they think they're funny. And I don't know why Vince McMahon thinks they're funny. But they're not funny. So yeah, make the match quick. Make the match painless. Not for Corbin. Especially not for Corbin. Make it painless for us at home. Make it quick. So yeah, just have Drew McIntyre win and get the story over with and have Drew do something of substance.
The Usos versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships.
Okay, now this match I can kind of get behind because the Usos are great. They have always been great, and I have always liked the Usos, unlike Happy Corbin. And Shinsuke Nakamura has been one of my favorite wrestlers on the roster for years now. He's in one of my favorite matches of all time, so he kind of has to be. And the addition of Rick Boogs by Nakamura's side really is kind of fun. I mean, the whole guitar thing is really cool for Nakamura's entrance, and Pat McAfee dancing along with it every single week will never get old. I love it. And even though I think the only reason they're really doing this match is so that the Usos will have someone to face that isn't the New Day, I don't think it's going to result in new tag champs, which is why I'm going with the Usos. Now, don't get me wrong. Boogs is cool, and Nakamura is great. But to keep the belts on the Usos just makes storyline sense. Because it'll have the Bloodline keep their hold all gold moment, spoilers, and it'll just make things seem right on SmackDown. Maybe someday there will be an actual different tag team that will take the belt from the Usos that, again, isn't the New Day or the Street Profits. But for now, yeah, keep the belts on the Usos.
Edge versus AJ Styles.
Okay, so out of every match on the card, this match is the one I'm excited for the most. Because for the first time in ages, Edge has actually changed his character. Like, we've never seen this from Edge before. He changed his style of promos. He changed his entrance. He changed his entrance music, for God's sake. Metalingus is not being used by Edge anymore, and that is a crime against humanity. But that's besides the point. The point is, Edge is finally changing things up a little bit, and I think it's a change that was absolutely needed. And also, he's wrestling AJ Styles, which makes things a lot better. This match has a little sliver of history to it as well. Think back to Royal Rumble 2020 with Edge's return. He spears a bunch of people, and then he faces off against AJ Styles and injures AJ Styles. Not intentionally, of course, but he injures AJ Styles. And during Edge's promo work against Styles going into Mania this year, I don't know if they've done this already. I haven't watched Raw, and I don't want to. But they could have Edge say something like, "I injured you once, and I will gladly do it again," or something along those lines. And I really do think Edge should win here. Just think about it. It will be his first true one-on-one match at WrestleMania since his return. Sure, he had the one-on-one match against Randy Orton 2 years ago, but it was long and it was boring, and it was in front of no fans, and it was also a last man standing match. He had the great triple threat last year with Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan, which main evented the show, fair enough. But that was a triple threat, not one-on-one. So this will give him a chance to prove his worth. Now, Styles, yes, he's amazing. But I feel he's just coming into his own as a single star again after being in a tag team with Omos for the better part of a year. So I don't think they should give him the win right off the bat. If they want to prolong the feud a little longer, then they can. But don't have AJ win the first bout. Have it go to Edge. If you want to have AJ win the feud, you can. But yeah, to start off, give it to Edge.
Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey for the SmackDown Women's Championship.
We cap off night one with the WrestleMania return of Rowdy Ronda Rousey. I have been waiting for Ronda Rousey to return for, no joke, about 3 years. Her last match before this year was at WrestleMania 35 when she lost to Becky Lynch after a botched crucifix and then threw a tantrum, and then we didn't see her since. Fast forward to Royal Rumble 2022, and she's the surprise 28th entrant, and lo and behold, she wins the thing, eliminating Charlotte Flair. It really doesn't make sense that Charlotte Flair would enter the Women's Royal Rumble as SmackDown Women's Champion, but I guess you could do the WWE typical storyline thing with the, if I win, I'll have no one to challenge me. Smart, villain smart. But even though she made it to the final two, she got eliminated, and Ronda chose her, even though I think she should have chose Becky, but that's besides the point. This is the first time we're getting true babyface Ronda, I think, versus true heel Charlotte. I mean, sure, we've gotten the match before, Survivor Series 2018 and all that, but this feels different, because Charlotte has been essentially ruling the division alongside Becky Lynch in Ronda's absence, and Ronda's return sparks a new beginning for her career. So, yeah, this match really does have a big fight feel to it, and I absolutely think Ronda should win. I don't care who it is, I just want the belt off Charlotte, but I also do think it makes good storyline sense for Ronda to win here. In their match at Survivor Series, Ronda did win, sure, but it was by disqualification. It was an otherwise great match, capped off by a crappy ending. This could give her the chance to actually right those wrongs and either pin her or make her tap out. And oh my god, it will be amazing to make her tap out. So yes, that is my final option. Cap off night one with Ronda Rousey defeating Charlotte Flair to win the SmackDown Women's Championship.
Now we move on to night two. A fatal four-way tag team match for the Women's Tag Team Championships.
Do I really have to talk about this? It's on the card, so I guess I have to. Okay, so let me just get it out of the way. Night 2 seems nowhere near as good as Night 1. Because out of all the matches on Night 2, one seems like it's a big fight feel, and the others just seem like filler. Especially this one, because it's the women's tag team division. Of course it does. No one has ever taken the women's tag team division seriously. Well, that's not true. I took it seriously for one night. And that was Elimination Chamber 2019. The day it was created. And since then, it's just been ever since. Before this show, none of these teams were even teams. Well, except for one, and that's Queen Zelina and Carmella. But why are they even a team? It makes no sense. Let me tell you how weird this is. The other teams in this match are Naomi and Sasha Banks, Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, and Natalya and Shayna Baszler. What? It's like Vince McMahon looked around catering, saw two women talking to each other, and say, hey, you two are going to be a team, whether you like it or not. That actually sounds like what's actually happening. I don't care about this match. I don't care at all. This is the second year in a row they've had a fatal four-way tag match. So yeah, I'm just going to pick Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan because I like Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. I mean, what else do you want me to say? It's the Women's Tag Team Championships. Quite frankly, nobody cares.
Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn in an Anything Goes match.
Oh boy, this is going to be rough. So, Sami Zayn has been involved in a feud with Johnny Knoxville from Jackass for months now, and it's culminating in an Anything Goes match at WrestleMania. What the Now, unlike Logan Paul, who has never wrestled a day in his life, remember, I think Johnny Knoxville is actually a better candidate for a wrestling match, considering, one, he has wrestled before, if you count the Royal Rumble, and two, have you seen Jackass? Have you seen the crazy stuff that they do on that show? To him, wrestling is like going to Sky Zone, and if you don't know what Sky Zone is, I hate you. I don't care about this match, but please let Sami Zayn win. I don't want to see Johnny Knoxville get the victory over Sami Zayn. They have been absolutely cruel to Sami Zayn, and by they, I don't mean the Jackass crew, I mean WWE. They have not given him anything of substance to do for years now. So, please WWE, let Sami Zayn win.
Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes.
Okay, hold on. Before you get angry, no, this isn't on Wikipedia, but it's what I think is going to happen. So just bear with me. If you've been watching my videos lately, please, that's everybody, right? You'll know that I've made a video about Cody Rhodes returning to WWE. If you want to see that, you can click right here, or just go find it on the channel. You're smart enough. Maybe you can do that. But anyway, I made a video about Cody Rhodes signing with WWE and potentially having a match with Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. Seth Rollins is currently not doing anything at the moment, so it makes sense. So here's what I think is going to happen. On the night itself, on night 2 specifically, Seth Rollins will make his way into the ring and issue an open challenge. And that challenge will be answered by Cody Rhodes. And the two will proceed to have an excellent match with Cody Rhodes getting the victory. I mean, it's his first WWE match in 6 years. Please give him a victory. He has gotten so much better since leaving the company. He's a new man. Just give him the victory and things will be okay.
Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory.
Now back to our typical WWE shenanigans. Yes, Pat McAfee is wrestling again. If you remember, back in 2020, he had one of the best matches of NXT TakeOver 30 against Adam Cole. It was actually really good. Things might be a little different this time since his dance partner is Austin Theory, but never forget that Austin Theory on the Indies was kind of a big deal. And I feel like Pat McAfee should win here because it ties into the whole Austin Theory Vince McMahon thing. See, Austin Theory will lose at WrestleMania and Vince McMahon will essentially disown him, meaning that he has to go out and fend for himself without the boss's help. And also, can we please give Pat McAfee a singles win in WWE? He hasn't had one in ages. Actually, I don't think he's had one ever. So yeah, it will be nice for him to get his first singles win at WrestleMania.
RK Bro versus the Street Profits versus Alpha Academy in a triple threat tag match for the Raw Tag Team Championship.
This seems like it's going to be your fun, typical triple threat tag match, as all of the guys in this match are good. And then Otis is there. The booking can be fun as well. See, here's what I think is going to happen. First of all, the Street Profits win, because why not? But that's not the big focus of the match here. The big focus is what happens between Randy Orton and Matt Riddle. Because I think they're finally going to have Riddle turn heel on Randy, not the other way around. I don't know how they'll do it, but I think it's coming. And as for Otis and Chad Gable, just have all the teams band together to hit Otis with a big move. Or something. But yeah, have the Street Profits win the tag titles and have Riddle and Orton start a feud that will culminate in a match at SummerSlam. Please.
Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. Title for title, winner take all.
And we end with the biggest match in the history of WWE, and there will never be a match as big as this one. It's two big, beefy boys that Vince McMahon loves very much, going head-to-head with both world titles on the line. We're having a title unification, which means one of two things. One, we're going to get a new championship design, or two, the brand split's about to end. Three, possibly both. But in all honesty, this match does feel huge. Because Roman Reigns, again, is the best thing in WWE and has been for years. And Brock Lesnar is the best he's been in ages. And it's also really weird considering that Lesnar won the Royal Rumble and earned the right to challenge Roman Reigns and then went to the Elimination Chamber and won the WWE Championship. So, yeah. Title for title. Why not? Now, some of you might be asking, what do you think Paul Heyman's going to do? He's probably going to stay with Roman. Because I think Roman's going to win. WWE has been trying to portray Roman Reigns as the face of the company since his return. And with him holding both of their top championships, it very well could happen. And also, it will only solidify the case that the Bloodline is one of the best stables in wrestling today because they have even more gold than they already did. Once WrestleMania is over, you can have a championship unification ceremony, or whatever the heck you want, just as long as we get a brand new championship design and a new championship name. But if they call it the WWE Universal Heavyweight Championship or something like that, I'm going to pull my teeth out. But yes, bottom line, for the second year in a row, Roman Reigns should end WrestleMania standing tall and having both championships over his shoulders. Those are my predictions for WrestleMania 38. Do you agree? Do you disagree? If you do, or you don't, or whatever, let me know in the comments section down below. Don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe, and you can follow me on Twitter here. I'm Jackson Haney from Insane Internet Wrestling, and I will see you soon.